Washington is filled with it in the think tanks, and even at the IMF and the World Bank and up on Capitol Hill and everywhere you go, these PhDs, MBAs, and they're just pretentious. They think they're intellects. I mean, I've seen this all of my life. Nicole Parfait, Ambassador Danielle Parfait in Bogota, the French ambassador, his wife was exactly like that. I mean, she was the honorary president of Bogota and Anne Sinclair was the honorary chair of the IMF Family Association. And they don't want to get involved with the little people. They want to go to, in the case of Anne Sinclair, it's going to all of the luncheons and parties of all of the ruling elite, and I'm sure she got invited to every single thing in this town while she was here, and was too busy with all of that to bother with IMF staff and their spouses and what was going on in the IMF Family Association. This is why I hold her responsible. You're an honorary chair. You're coming here. And look what your husband gotten involved in. Partially because you turn a blind eye. She says, oh, rumeurs, des rumeurs. Ah oui, je savais toujours qu'il y avait des rumeurs. Rumors. I always knew there was rumors. Well, if you hear so many rumors, you better start looking around. I mean, if I heard that kind of rumors about my husband, I'd be damn sure I'd be finding out what's going on. And putting, this is the whole lifestyle of Epstein. And see, this is where Prince Andrew, I mean, look at Prince Andrew when he got divorced. First, it was his wife who was unfaithful to him. And, I mean, that's between them. And unfortunately, I guess it did break up the marriage. And, however, if you look at how he has treated his wife and how they have arranged that after, she still lives there. He didn't throw her out on the street. He didn't, these are the mother of his children, and they want to make the situation the best possible way for the two daughters. That's been their priority. I have a lot of respect for Fergie and Prince Andrew for doing that. Because, believe me, in a lot of these situations where the fighting with the parents is so bad that they can't even be 2 seconds together. And that has got to stop. I mean, the courts, all they want to do is money, 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 money. And so the more that the parents fight, the better it is, because then they make money. Oh, believe me, the divorce court, they have a whole documentary on all the crap that's going on there. So he just doesn't fit the profile. See, this is what you got, the MO. When you're a police officer or a socialite woman, you got the same job, believe me. The detective work, we do. And I think we even might do it better than the detectives out there. It's all different, Our forensic evidence is maybe different than what you all use. Ours is gossip and trash, dirt on people. This is how, you can trust this person, or you can trust. When I first started working at, well, it wasn't first, but I was working in a department, and Jennifer Shadak was, anyway, it was Sandrine Alba Wecker. She told me, she said, watch out for that woman. She's a viper. She'll stab you in the back like that. And everybody knew. And this is where women come in. They warn you. These are the good women. You come in and they go, ooh, watch out for that one, because she's a real viper. Watch out for that one. You see, men, you guys are sitting there. This is why sometimes men, I give some of you a free pass. Because how many times have you men had your wives or your girlfriend, after a party or some group gathering or something, have them go, Did you see her? Did you see her? Did you see what she did? Did you see what she did? How dare she treat me like that? How dare that? And the men will be going, well, I can't say no because she's going to get pissed off. And they'll go, yeah, it was really bad. And they have no idea what she's talking about. Yeah. But see, men, they just don't see it, unless, of course, as I say, my gay friends. I mean, this was I mean, I had much more homosexuals than lesbian, men gay friends than women. But a lot of them, they were like, oh yes, sister, oh yes, sister. I saw it. I'm normally, because even with the gay people, there's more of the effeminate side and the more macho, and even between them, believe me, I had friends that sometimes I'm like, oh God, you guys, would you stop with the infighting? You're as bad as the women. So anyway,
conversation wasn't a career ender, Hilton's remarks certainly could have dinged her celebrity status. In a 1999 interview with journalist Neil Strauss, Hilton reportedly expressed disgust at the idea of dating a black man. In an excerpt from the interview, which was published in Strauss's book, Everyone Loves You When You're Dead, Hilton says she went on a date with a celebrity who starred in Saving Private Ryan, but that she made up an excuse to leave once the pair moved to a place with better lighting and she realized her date was black. Hilton told Strauss, I can't stand black guys. I would never touch one. It's gross. So who was the actor? According to Slate, multiple sources speculated Hilton was talking about Saving Private Ryan's multiracial star, Vin Diesel. During the same interview, Strauss reportedly asked the heiress how black a guy has to be for her to consider him off limits. Hilton responded, 1% is enough for me. Like many people who are famous for doing next to nothing, Hilton has attempted to legitimize her fame by appearing in a number of extremely questionable movies. Her first real starring turn was in 2005's House of Wax, which got a rough 25% on Rotten Tomatoes and earned Hilton the annual Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Supporting Actress. Yas. A year later, Hilton...
Okay, I'm not going to finish this. I think it makes the point that... it's a hedonistic, superficial lifestyle, and famous for doing nothing. I mean, these are our socialites. These are the examples that you're giving to the young women in the United States and globally. I mean, no wonder, and with this, we're going to accomplish the SDGs? No, none of these people care. None of that. The only thing they care about is getting invited to the newest party, being at the country club, the in-country club, being in with the in crowd. See, this is, at Foxcroft, it was much, much more prevalent than at my British boarding school, Cobham Hall. But you all remember the series 90210, or the Hollywood zip code with all of the high school, and Brendan, and I forget all of the names of those people. But I mean, it was such a backstabbing, cheerleading, typical. It reminded me kind of an update on Grease. Remember the in girls, and she wanted to be in with the in girls, and that whole dynamics. Well, now you can see that was the 1950s. Now we fast forward, and what that type of paradigm is producing. I mean, this star worshiping and I mean, at least I was watching Elvis Presley, and at the beginning, I guess he had just returned from the war, and in the background, you can barely hear him singing with all the girls screaming, like they were gonna faint. And that whole mentality, and part of it, I believe, is we do not have a monarchy, and we don't have a family like the royal crown in England or in Spain, and that is the role that they play. And this, gets all back. I'm going to have to do the dictators next time. But I did get through the founding fathers, but and how it relates to the whole monarchy. And as I said in reading this, first it was the Paine who saw the monarchs as people sitting around doing nothing but partying. In England, a king hath little more to do than make a war and give away places, which in plain terms is to impoverish the nation and set it together by its ears. Leave their successors to tread the same idle round, sauntering away their lives without pleasure to themselves or advantage to the nation. Withdraw from the scene and leave the successor to tread the same idle round. This is the thing. And believe me, party, they must be having a great time. They're always partying. Believe me, this is why so many men end up on drugs all the time, because they're bored out of their minds. They just don't realize it because they're too stupid. and this is, they have, the expression, he rose to the level of his incompetence. And this is what HR has been doing for the past 40, 50 years. And you see the result. This is another thing. HR people ostracizing and marginalizing all of the deposed trophy wives, socialites, or stay-at-home moms. This is what we do. I mean, granted, maybe, blue-collar worker, but even then, the wives do play a part. I mean, at every social level, they do play a part in the organization of the family and their social networking and their life outside of the father's work. I mean, there should be, if we want equality, it means that the woman can be the breadwinner, and a man can stay home with the children and take care of the children, and nobody says boo. That's when we really get to a society where we have equality. Instead of, no, women, you got to get out into the workforce and you got to grapple up the ladder of success and you got to make it to the top because we need all of the statistics and we need to take power and control and be the new masters of the universe. No, that's this. Also, I guess I'll do the next with the dictator and this verbally abusive relationship, which gets into the power over paradigm that all of these people want to promote. And as I keep on saying, all of the staffers, the international community and the immigrants, with the university studies and who are grappling up the ladder of success, they have an obligation to assume responsibility for promoting democracy, upholding the Constitution, upholding the rule of law. If you want to be a citizen, well, participate. Where are all the Latinas and Latinos about the war on drugs? Particularly in the IMF and the World Bank. I've got this one on that. Here. And then I'll finish up. But again, you can go on and see all the illegal activity that's going on just in my case alone. So this, I don't know how well you can see from so Black Lives Matter, not to the Black Africans in the World Bank, UN, and IMF. Why have staffers in these orgs refused to dismantle the new Jim Crow? Why instead have they chosen to escalate racial tension with their racial targeting, bullying, and marginalization of whites in the swamp in their efforts to become the new masters of the universe and dominant race. Afro-Americans were not stolen from Africa. They were sold by Africans making a profit off the spoils of tribunal wars in Africa between the black tribes. And once again, black Africans are selling their sisters and brothers in America up the river. Barack and Michelle Obama did the same thing when they were in the White House. Obama's sellout to corporate America, greedy bankers and one percenters to the detriment of the people is no different than the Africans in the World Bank, UN, and IMF sellout, implicating them all in violations under crimes against humanity, racketeering under RICO and Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, inter alia. So then I have Brown Lives Matter, not to the brown Latinos in the World Bank, UN, and IMF. Why have staffers in these orgs refused to dismantle the war on drugs, but instead chosen to support the warmongering interests of American weapons producers and corporate greed to become the new masters of the universe and dominant race? Why is Ingrid Betancourt and Baltasar Garzón refusing to attack the American government and corporate America in the international courts, as well as publicly, but instead sell their souls to the devil by not rocking the boat, aka Titanic? And once again, brown Latinos in the U.S. are selling their sisters and brothers in Latin America up the river. Senator Ted Cruz is a perfect example of a Latino sellout artist in the GOP, as is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to corporate America, greedy bankers, and the one percenters to the detriment of the people, and are no different than the Latinos in the World Bank, UN, and IMF sellout, implicating them all in violations under RICO and Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, inter alia. Why is the U.S. House Finance Committee under Maxine Waters refusing to investigate the IMF's illegal activity and collusion with corruption? Because when Maxine Waters came in as the chairwoman of the House Finance Committee, I sent all of the entire committee a letter saying, I want an investigation into the IMF and the World Bank, because they oversee them, or they should be, after my workplace bullying report was swept under the carpet, nothing here, nothing there. And then also my letter to the executive directors of the IMF and World Bank, calling them all out. I mean, I know. Believe me, I know. I saw Jennifer Shadak at the credit union one day. I loved it. She lied to me. She set me up trying to make me look like an idiot when she lied to me. And I thought that might be the case. So she told me Sharmini Curry had gone back to the African department, of course. So that way, if I wrote a letter, it would go to the African department and make me look like an idiot because Sharmini had come from there. See, this is what they love to do. And this, the people who fill out your paperwork and at the courts or any place, they think it's amusing. They find it very, very funny to make you run around like a chicken with your head cut off. And it's their power. I mean, these people live pathetic lives, and they're totally incompetent, and they've gotten these jobs through cronyism. They keep on to them. Because everybody in the organization is like that, and it is purposely that way. So that, I mean, it's traditionally been like that because you did have the white male supremacists who started that after World War II. You have to remember this was started, and then I forget the exact year, but this was around 1950. So, the workforce at that time was totally different. Okay, the ones from 1950 are still not there, but it's been this tradition of cronyism that's never stopped. And I mean, my God, I go up, like I want to have a reality show. competition and bring the staffers from the Congress, staffers from the State Department, or bring staffers from everywhere and all of the agencies and IMF and World Bank. And who has the stupidest secretaries? Who has the stupidest support staff? Who has the biggest brown nosers and couch bearers? Couch participating in the couch casting, either on the demand or the supply side. Because the only thing that the feminists have done is now we've got equality. It's not just the men sexually harassing the women, it's the women sexually harassing the men. Maybe you guys enjoy it, I don't know, you know. But I certainly don't, and I know there's a lot of other women out there who don't. And so this gets into the general welfare and the obligation of men in a community. If you want peace from us and not bust your chops and bitch and scream and you know, about all the crap and all the violence in our communities, then you better get up off your rear ends and get to work. See, this whole thing of putting women into positions of power, and this is going to make these wonderful societies. It's not happening. Look at the evidence. Look at all of the evidence. I mean, I have more books, and I keep on finding another. I'm like, how can all of this evidence be there? And nobody's doing anything about it. They're too damn busy going shopping or going to you know, yes, I love the arts. I love music. I'm more of a, not really classical. My mom just kind of force-fed us that. And that's why you should never force-feed culture to your children. You want to offer that. You want to because it does enrich your life. It does. You know, literature, music. I mean, one of the most amazing places I've ever been is Preservation Hall in New Orleans. I mean, they talk a dive when you walk in there. My God, when these guys start playing their music, you don't even notice. It's incredible, and they're, you know, and not everybody is going to be, what is it, Mozart or everything like that, and that's fine. And we need a variety of music. I mean, Elvis Presley, scandalous, absolutely scandalous, gyrates. So, and you know, societies will continually, the younger group always comes in and challenges, and that's totally normal. You know, people are so antiquated and you know, stuffy and live a little. And maybe I'll get into this the next one. My favorite movie, or one of my favorite movies, is Anti-Mame with Rosalind Russell. And I'll show you some experts another time. But, you know, her famous line, and I always loved it, and I've really lived my life to as an adult, or maybe always, but life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death. And she's right. You know, yes, materially, ooh, I'm a pauper. I got nothing. And they keep on trying to even, you know, anything that I got, they're going to take from me and keep on trying to get me thrown out on the streets and you know, commit sati and all of that. It's not happening. But you know, what I have learned from the traveling, from the things that I have done, the people I have known. I mean, I'm like my father. You know, like when we were in Cuba, you know, I was constantly and taking advantage of the fact that I speak Spanish. You know, talking to the people and finding out about how they live. I mean, yeah, I enjoyed going to the restaurants. I mean, there was one place that everybody goes to in Havana. I forget the name of it. It's very famous. And they had the, the live music. And sure, that's part of it. I'm not going to go and just go to the slums and spend my vacations like that. But at the same time, or when we went to the Dominican Republic at the 5-star hotels, talking to the staff. And particularly they were doing with the kids, I think they were doing some, the entertainment people. And they told me how the people there are taken advantage of and oppressed and really can't say anything. So the North Americans who can't afford a 5-star hotel in the United States can go down there and have the 5-star experience. Well, I got something, my conscience. If I can't afford a 5-star experience, then I can't afford it, and I'm not going to go to some place where it's cheaper because they can hire people cheaper and they can exploit them more easily because the laws are less protecting of them. I mean, that's where we're heading in the United States. But just from a moral issue perspective of the person who is taking that vacation, I mean, we see a lot of that of the cruises. I've heard some pretty bad stuff there. And, you do become complicit to the whole thing when you partake, when you become a consumer. And quite frankly, for me, the whole luxury 5-star pomp and circumstance and on the stage and lights and limousines and bodyguards and all of that glitz. I don't know how you guys enjoy it. Really. And most of the, very wealthy people, I think, what's his name of the Virgin Airlines? I forget his name off the top of my head. I think he has a private island, and he has it not like Epstein to go and have his young girls, but so that he'd be away from the paparazzi and spying people, and I get it. My God, if every time I walked out the door, there's somebody click, 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 always trying to get me in some, photo with my hair not done and I'm going shopping or whatever. I would be like, people, leave me alone. Go and get a life. So it's not, and I can assure you, I've known too many people, and we all have seen, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, how this ends up. Nobody wins. Nobody wins. So anyway, I'll finish up that for today. Gosh, I've got to respond to my landlord, who, I mean, it's the typical. I explained them in the situation. You want your money, then you go and get on top of the unemployment people. You go to Muriel Browser, you are a landlord. There are landlord associations. You get together with all of the landlords and go and scream bloody murder to Muriel Browser, Congress Holmes Norton, I don't know exactly who would have to be, contacted in that, but there would be several people, and like I did with the State Department, the Congress, everything that I'm doing in my activism work, and you get up there, but you get up their ass and you say you're going to start doing your job, because if this person doesn't get their money, I don't get mine. And that's why I'm throwing them up against the wall on this. Also, I don't know what's going to open up. I mean, everybody in this town wants to shut me up and nobody will give me a job. I mean, I don't know. It is inadmissible. Not one word from Kalari since we've shut down. been a couple of emails. What's going on? What's going on? I mean, the owners or the manager should be, I mean, I'm not saying every day, and maybe not every week, at least at first, something. You know, oh, we're shut down until further notice. The employees have no idea what's going on. I mean, that's just disrespectful. I mean, they've been disrespectful from day one. I mean, that's, and that's why they, you know, don't want me in there managing, just like everybody else in this town. If they let me in and put me in charge, I'm going to kick their butts and rain on their little cushy parade. And that's what nobody wants. So, have a nice evening. Your masks, please, please, please. Good night.